Okay, my name is Roger Guest. I am Sandra's nephew. First up, I'd love to start off by saying how much I loved her. She was a great woman, big heart. We called on a daily basis after Linda passed away when I moved to Portland. She was a big help for me. She understood a lot of the mental health issues that I went through and helped me out a lot and showed me a lot of compassion. Like I said, we called pretty much on a daily basis. When she had to go on oxygen, she was calling me because Linda was on oxygen. She was trying to figure out how to use these damn things. So I helped her out a lot with that. Again, I like to say how much she did help me out. She understood my mental health issues, and she was a big help for me. And I dearly miss her. I love you, Aunt Sandra. God bless you.
Because I know when we lived in Sherburne, Sandra, they came and stayed with us in the summer. Do you remember that?
Which house were we in?
We were in the Forbes' house.
Right.
Yeah, and Mr. Burgess and his wife next door were the caretakers. Yeah.
I'm Jessie.
Yeah.
I'm Sandra's great niece. And one of my memories is going to Uncle Candace and Aunt Paul's farm. And the 5-hour drive there when she and Mom got lost in the middle of New York City. And we ended up taking the wrong exit and it was a mess. We got there like 2 hours late, but it was a great memory. And then when she used to pick me up after school and take me to her house, and my mom and I used to always have dinner at her house at least once a week, and her awesome cooking. And the jelly bed at her house. That used to be the best thing ever. And
What was that?
the jelly bed. It was a bed in her spare room that was like so squishy. You used to like jump up and down on it. And it was awesome. It used to be like all of the young kids' favorite thing. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
My name is Randy Plummer, and I am Aunt Sandra's nephew. And a couple of memories that I think about are the time at the apple farm when I tipped the tractor over and blamed it on Freddie. And so now you know the secret's out, along with your baked bean recipe, that wasn't true. I tipped the tractor over, so I'm sorry about that. And I guess I think about your apple crisp, your blueberry cake, and your amazing sweet potatoes at Thanksgiving. I will certainly miss those things along with you.
So some of my favorite memories of Aunt Sandra were going to the apple farm and getting to go to the hen house and grab all the eggs and ride the tractor. And one of my favorite things was Julie and I used to get on the player piano, and we'd have to hold underneath the edge and pump the pedals. And the song was always from Dr. Zhivago. But it was, and I got to shoot my first gun on the farm, knocking off the cans off the rail. And later, Aunt Sandra was the one who saved me in the middle of making strawberry jam. I thought I was ruining it, and I called her, and she talked me through it, and I made my first strawberry jam really well. And she also taught me how to make a mean strawberry glacé pie, which my husband loves. So.
She's a practical Yankee woman.
Yes. So Aunt Sandra left all of us many skills that we will share for generations to come. So I'm gonna miss her, but she left a legacy.
I'm Gretchen Guest Newberry. My dad, Gordon, was Aunt Sandra's oldest brother. And some of my fondest memories of Aunt Sandra, probably the first and foremost would be the apple farm. I loved going to that apple farm. And we'd always go as a family, and then sometimes it would be just all the cousins getting together at the farm. And we would just have an absolute ball out there picking the apples, driving around in those little beat up cars out through the apple fields and coming back in, and Aunt Sandra would make her famous stuffed cabbages. Oh my gosh, they were so good. And we'd just lay all across the floor in the living room by the big player piano and camp out there in the living room. It was just absolutely wonderful. And then when I moved away to Florida, missing New England all the time, I used to go to the beaches in Florida and collect seashells for Aunt Sandra for when she made all her little, the beautiful little seashell wreaths and the scallop shells and all the fun stuff she did. I'd send her boxes of seashells that I'd gather along the shores at St. George Island. She made the most wonderful little wreaths, and she'd do special ones for me that were half Maine shells and the other half would be the Florida shells. And then she mixed them where it was all interwoven, the two Florida and Maine seashores together. And just, you know, a work of love, and we both shared the love of the beach and the seashells, and it was just a perfect remembrance for me to have of Aunt Sandra.
Hi, my name's Laurie Guest Marcagiani. I am Gordon Guest's oldest daughter. There's 2 months between Peter and I, and we've been long-lost rivals all these years, 65 to be exact. And my fondest memories of Sandra are her at the house with her Philos and making dinner for Nana. Fondly going outside to pick cherries off the cherry tree to make a pie, which she was always good at. And I look forward every season, Thanksgiving and Christmas, to opening up Sandra's little book of recipes that had her famous green slime and her baked beans and Fred's favorite cake, which she always fondly made for Fred. Just good memories of Sandy always coming down to the beach. She was always one to have a scotch and walk to the beach. So thinking of you, Sandy, and hoping life is good on the other side. And happy trails.
Well, dear Sandra, we've had a wonderful celebration and the party of all parties. You're not here, but you are. We know you are. It was a glorious day. Thanks for letting the sun shine, the clear blue sky. That was only you. Absolutely perfect. You perfectionist, you. Not a cloud in the sky today. It was you. 54 years ago, I finally found out that you were a distant cousin to David Jordan. Little did I know. And all of these years, you moved away, you came back. There was Frederick. There were all the trials and tribulations, but nevertheless, you were always Sandra. And your love of books, your intellectual capacity, it was so wonderful. You made a new life, you had a successful job, and my fondest remembrance of you is having that cigarette and your scotch and sitting there and just telling everybody just what was what and shaking your head. And you knew it. And Sandra, you're a great gal. And you were so loved, and how fortunate that Kim was there and Shelby was there for you. Thought about you every day, and I know that you were just looking down at all of us, chatting about you today and thinking, oh, don't fuss over me. Thanks, Sandra. Have a good life. And get it ready for everybody else, because we want a special place. Perfection only, remember.
All right, Sandra
Bye-bye.
and Sally and myself, Sally Pease, used to picnic at Braewood Harbor and Godfrey's Cove, and we would go down to the rocks and build a fire, and my father would fish with Sally's father, and they would catch flounder and cook those on the rocks and make fish chowder, and we would all picnic for the day. And we did that quite often when we were little. That's probably the memory that most of us have the most of with Sally and Sandra. And it's been fun remembering that, and it's a good memory for all of us to have that we did when we were children. See, we used to go to Sally's and Sandy's mother's house on vacations. The girls would share time together. And Beverly, I think, stayed at Uncle Carol's one summer,
Oh,
and she was putting hay in the loft with a pitch, and I think it was Sandy who caught the pitch in her leg.
no.
Yeah, and so Beverly relates that story about visiting Catherine and Arthur in the summer. So I wish she was here to share some of hers, because she did spend a lot of time there. And Cynthia used to go to Sandy and Sally's and stay and go to the dances at the school. And Catherine would help her make her skirts so that she could go to the dance. And then I would visit and stay with, and actually I slept in Sandy's room with Sandy, because Sally had a little room with just a twin bed, and Sandy had the double bed.
With that black spool bed.
Yes, yes, and I would stay with them, and that's how we got away for a summer, away from my brothers, and we got a chance to spend some time with another in another place with a lot of people.
It was the Red House.
Yes, actually, you, Peter, and all of Carol's children were right next door most
Right.
of the time, and so yeah, it was fun. And the duck used to come in. Daffy Dilly used to come in.
I
The
remember that.
shower. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a lot of it.
She had an alligator at one point.
I don't remember that one. But I do remember that we did a lot of swimming together, because I can remember Sally saying, "Do you still swim?" Because I always thought, your mother always thought you were going to drown, you know, so it was interesting. We did have a good time, yeah.
Hi, Sandra. This is David, your brother-in-law. We've had a lot of good times. Among them are the times that we went to your house for the December 5th parties, St. Nicholas Day, excuse me. Then, of course, there's that infamous visit to Cambridge for the St. Nicholas Club, St. Nicholas party. Can't get that straight. And then, of course, you remember our night at the Blue Moon, Blue Roof. I won't say no more.
Hello, Sandra. Let's see. It started, I first met Sandra more than 50 years ago. I was just a teenager, and being part of the Guest Clan, we decided to go skiing at an early age. So Carol gave me his wooden skis with the bear trap bindings, and off we went. And several times we stayed at Sandra's house in Wilton, I think Wilton, New Hampshire, and it was the old farmhouse, and we had a wonderful time. And I'm not a person who often thinks of others and thinks of what they can do for people. But I think Sandra's the opposite. She's the type of person who would, and actually her brothers and sisters also, Carol, and also, and they're always thinking of other people, what they can do for them. And I think that was part of my education growing up, learning how to be compassionate and kind to others. And so those are the memories I have of Sandra, and she was always a great hostess at the house and loved having us there. And she was also one that was could see right through you, and if you put on airs, or she would settle you down and bring you right back to earth again. She liked to, and sometimes she liked to put yeast in things, exaggerate a bit. And those are the memories I've had of her. Well, it was nice knowing you, Sandra, and goodbye.
I have 1,000 memories of Aunt Sandra. And one of the memories, or the set of memories that are most dear to my heart is when I was going to Keene State College. And I would leave the hectic college weekend frat party life and escape to Aunt Sandra's farm. And I got a job picking apples there. And while I was working, Aunt Sandra would be like a mother to me. She made us lunch, and one of our favorite lunches was her tuna fish sandwich with chips and Coca-Cola. And I think everybody can relate to that lunch because that was a favorite. And on the weekends, when I got there, besides picking apples, Aunt Sandra knew I was coming and suggested that we make apple wine. So one of the most memorable times of Aunt Sandra was making apple wine. And at night, we would have coffee and Grand Marnier. And what else? There's so many memories of Aunt Sandra, but those are the most dear to my heart. Bye, everybody. Bye, Aunt Sandra.
So I'm Scott. I'm Sandra's niece's husband, Melody's husband. And actually I owe it to Sandra that I am Melody's husband because it was Sandra who told Melody that I was somebody that she should pursue. There's more to the story than I'll put on this, but it became known as the auntie factor, where both Sally and Sandra, I met them both when I met early on in meeting Melody, and Sandra in particular told Melody that I was worth chasing, which she did. So thank you, Sandra.
Hi, I'm Paul Mankey. I'm Candace's husband, who was Sandra's niece. And this is the story I have to tell you about me and Sandra and Candace. The scariest moment I ever, and the dumbest thing I ever did in Maine. I'm always under control in Maine, but not this night. Because we had to go up to her apartment, and we were spending the night. So we decided we ought to drink some of that scotch that she loves so much. So we finished off a whole bottle of scotch, and boy, were we having fun. Except the girls ran out of cigarettes. Now it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I think it's in Saco. And the girls say, we need cigarettes. I'm going, Paul, get us cigarettes. I'm going, okay, I guess I gotta go get them cigarettes. I don't even know my way around Saco in the daytime. So I go down, get in the car, and go up the street. They told me, go up the street, take a left, take another left, and loop around. There's a gas station and get the cigarettes. So went up the street, took a left, no gas station, but maybe I took a right. I don't remember. We've been drinking a lot. So anyway, after going around a block or some blocks 2 or 3 times at 1 in the morning, dead drunk, I'm going, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. I'm drunk. I'm driving to a place I don't even know where I am. I hope I can find my way back. Found a convenience store, bought them cigarettes, go down the street, and they were right. There's her apartment. Get back in. Dumbest thing I ever was told to do by Sandra was get her cigarettes. I'll never forget it. Thank God I made it back. And another little memory is my son was home 2 weeks ago. I told him we're coming up here to say the memorial service for Sandra. And Morgan says, oh yeah, I remember. It was always great. I'd pull in the driveway, and when she was here, because I had to come see her, and there she is sitting on the porch, legs crossed, cigarette, drink, and going, my God, it's Morgan. Great memories. Wish it could happen again this year. I'm up at the lake, and every year I come up here at Lois's lake. Sandra always makes a point of coming up. So Lois, I don't think she's going to show up, but Sandra, I hope you're looking down on us this afternoon because I'm going kayaking, baby. So what's your relation to Sandra?
Sandra's my sister-in-law, my Carol Guest's sister. And Sandra and I did some babysitting together while Charlie was getting his college education, they came and lived with Carol and I and my 6 children.
The farm?
Once on the farm and once on Pleasant Avenue in Winchester, not Winchester, but in wherever. We were on the other side of
Tiverton?
Framingham,
Yeah, oh
where
yeah.
Carol worked. Pleasant Street it was. And they came and stayed with us twice, while in the summertime especially when Charlie was getting an education, and so Sandra and I were the mamas and took care of all the kids. She had 1 and I had 6, and she was a great help to me when I was sick, and it worked out for both of us. Charlie had free rent, and Sandra had free rent, and Freddie had free rent, and Charlie got his education to put the man on the moon, which is what he did when he went to work for Sanders Incorporated in New Hampshire. And so we were very good friends. We worked well together and took care of those kids, and what she didn't do, I did, and what I didn't do, she did, and she was a hell of a cook. We had great, we enjoyed each other's company and the children. And was always saying, "Where are those boys anyway? Where are those boys?" They were probably down at the riverbank, the good old
Fishing.
river, which was called the
Charles River.
Charles River. Yep. And those were the good days. We had some good times. Good times raising a family. That was it.
She visited you up to camp quite a bit.
And, yep, since we had camp all those years, we always had company in the summertime. Sandra loved camp. Sally loved camp. David and Sally, maybe they'll both be up. I've got to go see Sally right now and see if they're coming up tomorrow maybe to camp. And that is about the sum and substance of our many, many days spent together raising a family.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved